You saw them dogs out there. You saw them dogs out there.
Okay.
And it started with Stephon Castle. I didn't know whether to call him a Doberman or a pit bull, the way they sicked him on SGA today. And he the one that really, yes, Wemby was the best player on the floor, but Stephon Castle actually set the tone from the jump with his physicality.
2 years ago, a preseason press conference. Gregg Popovich stood up and said 11 words about a 19-year-old rookie who had just shot 26% from three at UConn. Almost nobody listened. The one analyst...
Oh my goodness! Stephon Castle!
Spurs are in the Western Conference Finals for the first time since 2017. Victor Wembanyama looks like the future of the entire league. Dylan Harper is everything San Antonio hoped he would be. And quietly, running the whole show in the middle of all of it, is Stephon Castle, the same Castle who entered the league with a broken jumper and a Swiss Army knife label. The same Castle scouts could not agree on. The same Castle people argued should not even be a point guard. Pop was right about Stephon Castle. And today, we are going to prove exactly why. A year after drafting Wemby, everyone already knew what he was going to be. The franchise piece, the foundation, the kind of player you build your entire future around. But San Antonio also knew something most rebuilding teams have to learn the hard way. One guy does not get you back to winning basketball. A rebuild needs a foundation, but it needs pillars around it too. Most teams in that spot start hunting for a second star through a blockbuster trade. The Spurs went the other way. They leaned into the rebuild, finished 22-60, fifth worst record in the league. And the lottery balls broke their way again. They moved up to the number 4 pick in the 2024 draft. The problem? This draft looked nothing like the one before it. The 2023 class had a generational pick everyone agreed on for 2 years. The 2024 class? No clear top guy, no franchise changer, no prospect everyone was unanimous on, but the Spurs were locked in on one player, Stephon Castle. Castle was a 6'6" guard coming off a national title run at UConn, where he played a real role in the Huskies, winning back-to-back championships. 11.1 points, 4.7 rebounds, 2.9 assists, shooting 47% from the field. A lot of his games screamed NBA starter, but there was one massive issue showing up in every single scouting report: the jumper. Castle shot 27% from three at UConn. For a modern NBA guard, that number is a giant flashing warning sign. Defenses sagged off him all year, daring him to shoot. And he couldn't make them pay. There was another wrinkle too. At UConn, Castle spent most of his time playing off the ball on a deep veteran roster. Tristan Newton ran the offense. Donovan Clingan owned the paint. Castle was often the third option, deferring to Newton, Cam Spencer and Clingan. That left NBA scouts with a real question. Could he actually lead an offense? Or was he just going to be a high-end connector and nothing more? The most common pre-draft label attached to him: Swiss Army knife. Good at a lot of things, great at nothing. The Ringer put it bluntly. Stephon Castle can do it all, but can he become a star? His most common pro comps? RJ Barrett, Bruce Brown, solid NBA players, not stars. And honestly, none of those takes were unreasonable at the time. The shooting, the role, the creation, the athletic profile, all of it pointed to uncertainty. But then you go back to what Pop saw. Here is something worth knowing about Gregg Popovich. In nearly 3 decades coaching the Spurs, Pop has never been the type to hand out praise easily. He does not sugarcoat anything. He is not protecting any young players' feelings. So when Pop showed up at Summer League and Castle dropped 22 points, 5 rebounds and 4 assists, the way Pop talked about him mattered. Pop said, "I love his seriousness for such a young kid. I love his pace. His expression never changes. He doesn't go too fast, doesn't go too slow. He reads situations. He seeks contact. He is an excellent defender and he makes wonderful decisions. He's going to be a quick study and he's going to play on the court pretty quickly." Coming from most coaches, that is standard off-season talk. Coming from Pop, that is a lot. And then training camp opened and it got even louder. Pop again. Very impressive, really mature young man, great demeanor, good basketball IQ. He's strong. He learns quickly. He's a good one. He can play 1, 2, or 3 right now. Those last 6 words are the whole story. He can play 1, 2, or 3 right now. At the time, it sounded almost ridiculous. A 27% college shooter is supposed to have one of the hardest transitions to the NBA. Guards who cannot space the floor do not usually become offensive engines. But Pop was not looking at Castle as a traditional lead guard. He was seeing something completely different. A connector. A multi-position creator. A guard who could plug into a system full of decision-makers without needing the ball glued to his hands. On ESPN's Draft Night broadcast, Jay Bilas dropped a comp that lit the entire internet on fire. He said Stephon Castle could become a bigger Drew Holiday. Twitter melted down. Fans were furious. Drew Holiday had just been a key two-way piece on the Celtics championship run in 2024. Before that, a championship-level guard with the Bucks in 2021. One of the best defensive guards in basketball, and people were comparing this 27% shooter from UConn to that guy? The internet roasted Bilas, the take got buried, Castle was written off. And now, in 2026, those takes look about as wrong as a take can look. Castle made the kind of offensive leap that changes how the entire league has to guard him. The numbers tell the story. Points per game, from 14.7 to 16.7 rebounds, from 3.7 to 5.3 assists, from 4.1 to 7.4 effective field goal percentage, from 47.6% to 52.1%. And the biggest red flag? That jumper that everyone worried about? As a rookie, 28.5% from 3. Year 2, 33.2% from 3. Still below league average, but no longer something defenses could completely ignore. Then the playoffs happened, and the jump got real. Through 2 rounds, Castle is shooting 44% from 3 on 4.5 attempts per game. In Game 6 against Minnesota, his most defining performance so far, 32 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, 5 made threes, in a series-clinching win that sent San Antonio to a place they had not been since 2017. Then in Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals against OKC, 17 points and 11 assists, becoming the second youngest player in Spurs playoff history to record a points-assist double-double. He passed Tony Parker doing it. The guy questioned as a shooter, answered. Questioned as a creator, answered. Questioned as a lead guard, answered. All 3 at the same time. Now here is where everyone outside San Antonio should feel a little embarrassed. Because Pop being right about a young player is not some rare event. It is basically the foundation of everything the Spurs have built over the last 3 decades. Manu Ginobili, 1999. San Antonio used the 57th pick on a relatively unknown lefty guard from Argentina. Pop said, "I blew him away. We wined him. We dined him. We gave them everything they wanted." That's how we found out about Manu when nobody else knew about him. From 2004 to 2011, Manu averaged 16.8 points, 3.4 rebounds, and 4.2 assists. 4 titles. Hall of Famer, Tony Parker, 2001, taken with the 28th pick. But before the draft, his first workout went so badly that Pop reportedly did not even want to see him again. It took GM R.C. Buford and a young scout named Sam Presti pushing back inside the building. Parker told Pop directly, "We are going to show all the others that they made a mistake by not taking me." Pop was brutally hard on him. Pop himself later said, I should have been arrested for abuse for the things I did to that kid. 4 rings, finals, MVP, Hall of Famer. Kawhi Leonard. Even Pop was not fully sold on draft night. He admitted, "We were all looking at each other like, are we really going to do this? We were scared. He's not a shooter. He's not a scorer. He's not a perimeter player. He's a big guy who can rebound." They drafted him anyway. Shooting coach Chip Engerland went to work on his jumper. Pop locked him into an identity immediately. You have to be the best defender in the league. You have to be Bruce Bowen times 10. 2 titles, 2 finals MVPs, future Hall of Famer. That is the pattern. Manu had the intensity. Parker had the speed. Kawhi had the defensive instincts. Castle has something in the consensus never properly weighed. Versatility. Pop said Castle could play 1, 2, or 3 right now. That one prediction changed the entire roster construction. When the Spurs traded for De'Aaron Fox at the 2025 deadline, the league was confused. Then San Antonio took Dylan Harper at number 2 in the 2025 draft. Another guard, another ball-dominant talent. But internally, the answer was simple. If Castle is not locked into one position, the roster does not have to be either. Now look at what they have built. Area 51, Castle and Wembanyama, named after both jersey numbers and Wemby's alien reputation. In the 1,156 minutes, they have shared the floor this season. The Spurs are outscoring opponents by plus 17.9 points per 100 possessions. For context, better than Jokic and Jamal Murray, plus 11, better than Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duren, plus 12.6. Even better than SGA and Chet Holmgren, plus 17.7. Wemby said it himself, "It's just the beginning. I hope to spend 15 years as his teammate, so hopefully we see thousands of lobs." The Slash Brothers, Castle and Dylan Harper, named in contrast to Golden State's Splash Brothers, but built not on shooting. Built on constant rim attacks, downhill bursts, and relentless paint touches that force defenses to collapse. Head coach Mitch Johnson described it perfectly. They listen when we tell them stuff, and they get on the court, and they're just like attack dogs. They just go. And then there is De'Aaron Fox, the veteran stabilizer, the emotional and tactical engine that ties the whole thing together. Castle, Fox, Harper, 3 lead guards, 1 system. No role confusion, no hierarchy problems. Because Castle is exactly what Pop said he was. Pop was not on the sideline to watch this unfold. 5 games into Castle's NBA career, Pop suffered a stroke and stepped away from coaching. But the prediction? Unfolding almost exactly how he described it. Manu, Parker, Kawhi, now Castle. The same pattern, the same conviction, the same Spurs, and here is what should make every other team in the league nervous. If this is what they look like in their first real postseason run together, the next version is going to be absolutely terrifying for the rest of the NBA. Pop said 11 words 2 years ago that nobody believed. He can play 1, 2, or 3 right now. He has been right too many times to keep ignoring. Pop was right. He always is.